Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with another transfer roundup show. Make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Help us on the road to 10k. We're past that 5,000 mark and we're well on the road to 10k. So please do like, subscribe, get your comments in, your thoughts on the latest transfer rumours. Now, we've got a few to go through, none in the real rumours of new players. We kind of know who Villa's targets are at the minute, essentially waiting up for all those negotiations and for those signings to be announced, hopefully. But first, the big news is that John Duran is on his way to play for Aston Villa against Monaco in the Champions League. And no, he is not on his way to West Ham. Aston Villa received a bid today of £57 million by all accounts from West Ham for John Duran. Now, this is what has been described as a derisory bid, and Unai Emery in his press conference wouldn't even entertain it. John Duran is not for sale, and he is certainly not for sale at the price of £57 million. Now, this smacks of a little bit of bad timing, a little bit of maybe trying to unsettle the player ahead of Sunday's game. And we know that West Ham were in for him in the summer, and he potentially could have gone there for sort of 30 to 35 million. Now, with the season that he's had, with the impact that he's had, with the quality of the goals that he scored, that price has significantly increased. And we would not entertain, I am sure, anything below £80 million. And there would certainly have to be a huge price up front. Clauses put in there in terms of sell-on clauses and bonuses and everything like that would have to be added on. So there would be a long, long way to go, let alone the fact that it's West Ham and the season that they're having and the situation with Aston Villa and the season that they're having and the number of games that he's playing, the minutes that he's getting and everything like that. There would have to be some significant negotiations, significant add-ons put into the deal to even entertain it. And when we're on the 20th of January, we now have 11 days of the transfer window to go. There is certainly not enough time to get those negotiations completed. So it is a derisory offer. I would suggest it's to do with unsettling the player. I'd suggest it's to do with appeasing the fans in terms of trying to say that West Ham fans, in terms of them trying to say that they're going for a player of the stature of John Duran, but they couldn't get the deal over the line, or they tried to spend this amount of money and then, ultimately satisfy the fans with a loan signing or something like that, with the potential of trying to go back after John Duran in the summer. However, I'm sure there'll be some bigger clubs interested in him in the summer. We've already talked about Paris Saint-Germain interested. They're apparently in talks with him in terms of a longer negotiation piece that's talking around 70 to 75 million pounds. So that would be in the ballpark of the money of the fee that Aston Villa will be looking at. However, we have another half of the season to go. I'm sure he's going to score more goals. I'm sure he's going to increase his reputation, which is only going to enhance the price. So, look, it's a ridiculous bid. It's a ridiculous offer. And there's certainly nothing to suggest that John Duran is going to go to West Ham, particularly with the season that they're having. I wouldn't even suggest that Graham Potter would essentially be interested in this player. Why would he come in and say, oh, that's the player that I want? He's only been in the club for 2 weeks, and they were interested in him in the summer when it was Lopetegui. So that would suggest that the manager isn't the one who's signing the players. So yes, I'm sure he knows he's a very good player, but does he even fit into what Graham Potter wants to do with West Ham? That's another question to ask as well. So John Duran isn't going to go anywhere in January. I think there might be talk and there might be deals done for the summer, but it certainly won't be to West Ham. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments, though. Like I said, I don't even think it's worth entertaining. Are West Ham going to be able to go up to 80 to 85 million in January? I'm certainly wouldn't say that is the case. But as I say, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is he likely to even entertain an offer to West Ham? Let me know. Now, Aston Villa are looking at letting one player go, and Diego is departing, by all accounts, going to Fenerbahce for around about, I think it's 13 million euros, so around 10 million pounds. Apparently, he is flying over as we speak for his medical and to be announced tomorrow, i.e., Tuesday. And that will allow Aston Villa to look at securing the signature for Loic Bade from Sevilla. And apparently we have made an initial bid of 21 million euros with 4 million euros in add-ons. Sevilla are adamant they want 30 million euros. So there isn't too much to do in terms of squeezing that price. I would imagine somewhere in the region of 25 million euro down payment with 4 or 5 million in add-ons to take it to that 30 million euros. So I guess it's all about the kind of negotiation of how much Villa will need to pay up front and how much they can pay over in installments, because apparently the Carlos deal is going to be paid over 3 to 4 years. So we know how these deals are done. We know how they're structured. Sometimes there's a higher down payment, sometimes there's more payments over installments, and then there's add-ons on various appearances. But this looks like a very good player. Looks like Monchi has exploited a gap in terms of Sevilla's finances and stolen a march on the likes of Liverpool and one or two other clubs who were very interested in Bade. But Aston Villa's reputation is growing. We're a Champions League club with a world-class manager. We've got a very, very good squad. We're going for Europe this season. We're hopefully going to get through in the top 8 in the Champions League. So this is a club that's going places, and these type of players will want to come to Aston Villa. So I'm sure that deal will get done towards the end of the week, and we will see a new player coming in, especially with Diego Carlos going the other way. Now, we featured him a couple of times on the pod already, so please do check those shows out where we've gone through his sofa score. But he looks a very, very strong player, looks very good with the ball in terms of carrying it out, very good at ground duels, very good at aerial duels. So certainly, I would say an upgrade in terms of the player that Diego Carlos, or we wanted Diego Carlos to be. Yes, Carlos had some fantastic games where he really did mark Haaland out of the game. He had some great games against Arsenal. So some of those big, high-profile games, but in some of the games where we might have needed him to maybe help us control possession, or games where there was a central attacker who wasn't necessarily that well known, or would pull him and move into different areas that Diego Carlos didn't want to move into, that's where he struggled, and particularly with concentration. So I'm hoping that Bade can be an upgrade on that, and that certainly gives us some options in that central defence area with Konsa and Mings playing so well together. But we know that Mings, with his fitness, we know that the pressure that's put on those two at the moment with Pau Torres being injured, we really do need an extra option there, because the younger players like Swinkles, I don't think that they've got the experience necessarily to come in the pressure situation that we're in at the moment. So Bade, get it done this week, and that will be in a really, really good position. And finally, player who surprised everyone with his appearance on Saturday night, Lamar Bogard, looked very composed, was given a really tough task and stuck to it really well, and grew into the game. As I said, on the talking tactics and the match reaction, had a hand in the goal that got us back into the game, and could have won it at the end for Aston Villa as well, with a shot that he got on target, but maybe didn't quite have the conviction to really put it into the net. But it's talked about that he's wanted by Hoffenheim and 2 or 3 other championship clubs as it stands on a loan move. So it would be interesting to see what happens. I would guess that will go right to the end of the window, and see whether Ross Barkley comes back to fitness, see how quickly John McGinn comes back to fitness, because that then would probably leave a spot for Bogard to maybe go out on loan to get that extra experience. And, clubs like Hoffenheim and a top-level championship club would be a really good move for him, potentially to give him that experience to either challenge for the first team in the summer, or to get a move and, as I say, add transfer kitty to Aston Villa. So we will see about that. But he will certainly have given Emery food for thought in terms of whether he would keep him around and be able to utilise him more as the season goes on. We know the games are going to build up. We know that we're going to need the squad to be bigger. And with players like Buendia potentially needing to move to get first team football, I'm sure there'll be one or two that move on, and potentially we've talked so much about Loic Bade with other clubs really, really interested in him. I've seen potentially our Racing Club Lens interested in bidding 6 million for him. Celtic obviously looking to bid for him, and a number of Championship clubs after him on loan. But pictures of him training with the first team today indicate that he could well stay around. So we'll see about that, because maybe Buendia is the one to move on and Barry is the one to stay. And maybe looking at the fitness of those two players, as I mentioned, particularly Barkley and McGinn, might determine whether Bogard stays or goes. That's it from me, though. I don't think there's been any more moves in terms of potential signings or anyone else that we're looking at. Obviously, we haven't announced the signings of Garcia, the Spanish player, and the Turkish lad from Kasimpasa. We haven't yet announced that. I think it's Ozcan. So hopefully that's done this week. But all eyes on Monaco tomorrow. And hopefully we can get that win and secure that top 8 spot. We'll be back with a preview for that game very soon, and also match reaction from myself and Fans Forum, hopefully with a special guest as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Hit that like button, like I said, hit the subscribe button, and get your comments and your thoughts on the potential signings that Villa can make this week. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.